Fantasy Football Show.
Hello everybody and welcome to Clash of the Correspondents, the show from Planet FPL each week where we bring on two guests whose teams are playing each other. My name's Suj.
My name is James.
James, who do we have on this week?
We have today, ahead of the Sunday meeting at Villa Park, our Aston Villa correspondent, Adam Hopcroft. How are you, Adam?
Yeah, I'm very, very good. Great to be on again. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Adam. And we're also joined by one of only two men who can claim to have gone mental celebrating a last-minute winner with myself in the last year, the other being my father. We are joined by Tottenham correspondent Ricky Saunders. How are you, mate?
I'm really good, thank you very much, James. Hello, everybody. Great to be back again.
We need a separate show one of these days, Ricky, titled "What It's Like a Day Watching the Football with James Linden." I want a blow by blow account of how you survived. but we'll save that. We'll save that for the summer when there's no football.
The best bit is as well because me and Ricky went to Wolves in December.
Yeah.
And obviously we invited Adam out for a drink as well afterwards. I mean, he was like, "No, fuck that."
He saw it was the Christmas meetup. Adam saw you at the end, right? So fantastic.
Right, lads, let's get into it. Adam, if we can start with yourself. Firstly, I guess amongst the relegation woes and worries, we should say congratulations on reaching the Carabao Cup final. Were you at Villa Park for the semi?
Yeah, it was quite good because I was at the Watford game the week before, and I think it must be something about Tuesday nights because it's rare you get a last minute winner, but to have it 2 games running was incredible. Both days I'd lost my voice going into work, so the following day, so trying to do my job with no voice was difficult, but it was the scenes were brilliant. It was and I think for Villa fans, it's and I think for Villa in particular, we were hoping that would give us a lift in the league, but unfortunately the Bournemouth game followed. I think we've been put right back down to earth, but we've got. I think we've got 2 good things to play for to obviously stay up, and if we can stay up and win a trophy, even better. Although, hopefully beat a fixture congested Man United in the final would be great.
If only it was Man United, mate.
So Man City. Yeah. I'll take Man United.
I'd give you half a shot at that one, mate.
Yeah. That's what we were all hoping for. And when it was 1-0, I thought we've got a chance here, but.
The thing with the Carabao Cup final is it's so early in the season. If you lose, it's kind of very quickly forgotten about, and then it's straight back down to reality in the last 10 games of the season, what have you.
It can have a destabilising effect. I think some people mentally shut down after that. It shouldn't be the case for Adam's Villa, but I'm thinking
with relegation to battle, obviously, I don't think it will be at
all.
all.
But I'm thinking of sort of Birmingham in 2011, obviously beat Arsenal and then still went down. And Villa have got to be careful of that because I think
my big worry is we win and then Jack Grealish is on the piss for about 2 weeks and then
2 weeks.
So that would be my
I think that's optimistic, pal. I think it'll be longer than that, mate.
Yeah. And then you've got Tyrone Mings who still celebrates, does an all-nighter in the kit. So I think that's the biggest worry if we win.
Imagine it. He'll go on the piss for 2 weeks. He'll be like, calm down. Then he's in the England squad. He'll be off for another 2 weeks, mate. Yeah. Ricky, okay.
Hello.
How are you, mate? We give a different Spurs perspective to mine, although it might be the same. Talk to me about the manager and how you feel.
Well, first thing's to see if he mentions him by name.
The team, yeah.
The man who picks the team. That's the guy, yeah.
I had the same. Well, I had a conversation today. I'm up in Geordieland at the moment, so I was talking to some Newcastle fans, and they asked me the same question. What do I think? Well, look, he's still saying and doing the right things. In all honesty, performances are pretty crap, but at least the last couple of games we're getting some wins. So look, if he's getting 3 points and getting into next round of cups, I ain't going to moan too much. The football's poor to watch at best. But yeah, we're in the next round of the cup. We've got 3 points. We're chasing down Chelsea for that 4th spot, as unlikely as it might be. But yeah, it's looking good at the minute. Or goodish anyway.
I'd be interested in your opinion then on what what at the end of the season you would say, yeah, all right, we've had a good season then?
After the start of the season, probably not to go down.
But with Mourinho in charge now, from here on in, where would you want to end up?
Look, with Mourinho, he was brought in to win trophies. I don't think it's too unrealistic to say I want to get to at least an FA Cup final. I'd love to win the thing. Just give me some silverware. I mean, I haven't seen anything in years.
Can I follow up that question to Ricky? So would you prefer, because it's a similar thing with the situation that Villa are in with, I suppose, the League Cup final and relegation. Would you prefer to win the FA Cup and not make the Champions League to get a trophy?
Absolutely, yeah. We used to, and James will be, no, but it's 100%. We used to rip Arsenal for years, 4th place trophy and all that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be one of them people. I actually want to lift a trophy, to see my team win a trophy. Look, Champions League is great, but yeah, give me some silverware over Champions League football, 100%.
I'd take a trophy in relegation. We've talked about it before. I'd take a trophy in relegation. We'll come back in the league eventually and what have you, but that's silverware.
I was just so impressed that Adam asked the exact question that I was going to ask Ricky.
You rehearsed this, yeah?
Yeah.
Not really, no. You started talking, I was like, that's what I'm going to ask next. And your boy was on it. I would just add in my 2 pennies worth. Yeah, I'm exactly the same on Ricky. Like, give me the trophy now. I've had my European nights and they're amazing, but I can live without it for a year. A competition we've got 0 chance of winning in any case. I need something in the bank now. I need a glory night. I need a glory day.
I couldn't add anything to that. That's just, that's exactly what it is for me. And to be fair, I don't think it's me and James. I think it's the majority of Tottenham fans who feel exactly the same way.
So go on then, Adam. Same to you, mate. Relegation or trophy?
I would definitely. Well, I would. I think for Villa, it's got to be staying in the Premier League, and I think the reason for that is how the club is set up. I think we've got quite a bright future, particularly with some of the younger players and the facilities. We've got in terms of the people at the club, we've got the right people. So staying in the Premier League is really, really important, and I think. Yeah, it'd be great if we win, but it'll count for nothing if we go down, because I think we've had that downward spiral recently, and it's so difficult to come back up. But I think if I was in your position, I'd definitely go for a trophy over top 4.
I've had this fixture on the last day of the season on my mind for a while now, Adam. Home to Villa. It's going to go one of 2 ways. It's either whoever wins manages to stay up and relegates the other, or there is an alternative, which is that we're both
already down.
Well, that's not an option worth thinking about. We're both out of the relegation zone, and a draw means we're both safe. So if that option happens,
that'd be brilliant. If
that option happens,
agreement,
you can have one of my spare tickets, and we'll go out on the lash. Because if it's a draw saves both clubs, it's going to be the most boring 0-0 game ever that ever get played.
Claret and blue loving, Jesus! I'll call my mates in Preston. Bloody hell!
So it's all right for you to have Ricky on the show. I'm going to stick with Adam here against the Tottenham guys. Come on, this is Claret and blue against Spurs.
We've
go
got
for
Chris
it.
on in March. You pipe down. Adam, talk to us. Go on, Ricky. Sorry.
I was going to say, I can't remember who put it, but I read a tweet the other day that was saying that West Ham might have some games pushed back, and it could be that if they have enough games pushed back, we could be the team that relegates them. And I'd actually take that over an FA Cup, if I'm being honest.
Wow, really? Is that how low your season's got? If you're talking about how our game against you is the cup final, you'd now take relegating us over winning a trophy.
Ricky, I haven't resorted to that yet, but I have thought about it.
It was interesting. You put a tweet out about the Football Blogging Awards being at Tottenham. I was going to let you know, at least there'll be some trophies in your stadium at some point this season, but none of them will be staying there, mate.
Yeah, but will we win one?
Well, have we not got the Aldi Cup?
Exactly, the Aldi Cup. Yeah.
Aldi Cup.
Yeah, the Aldi Cup, yeah. Adam, back to seriousness. Talk to me a bit, if you can, about the tactical change in Villa over the last sort of 6 weeks or so.
I think probably last time I was on, or just after that, I've been a bit frustrated with Dean Smith, because I think we had so many. It was so obvious to see the issues when were playing 4-3-3, and he just didn't change anything. So for the Burnley game, he went 3 at the back. It did coincide with Tyrone Mings coming back into the team, and he's gone 3-4-3. And yeah, we look better. I still think that there is a big problem with Villa, that I think we've got the right players to stay up. But I think the big problem is, even with this formation, we still play so deep, and that's cool. I mean, the game it caused us the biggest problem was Man City at home. We were just playing that shit on the edge of our own box with a back 3, back 5, and it just invites the likes of Mahrez. When you see the first goal, he runs just a complete free run for 20-30 yards, and so I think tactically it has its limit. What it does do going forward, though, is it frees Jack Grealish to do what he wants, and I think Target has really benefited. Both fullbacks have, but Target playing as a left wing back has really benefited from it, and the combination play between Grealish and Target, it's just a different level. I mean, Grealish must be a dream to play with anyway, but you can just see there's been 2 or 3 instances. I think the goal against Leicester, the goal against actually Watford that we scored. There's been quite a few of those where they've found each other and he's played him in. So I think that's really helped. And I think now we've actually got a striker in Samatta. He's looked okay. I've been fairly impressed with him. So I think, yeah, so it's 3-4-3. I think it does have its limitations, but I think we had to do it because we were just so weak in defence. We had to throw the extra body in.
Yeah, I think just to summarise, I'd really highlighted your left-hand side, Adam, a couple of weeks before the City game, because obviously Target was out.
Yeah.
And actually with him back in since I think the Watford fixture, it's made a little bit of a difference. He's a far better player than Taylor at left wing.
Taylor's so limited as a footballer.
Yeah, he really is. But you mentioned Samatta there. I just wanted to ask you your thoughts. Obviously, 6 million in FPL at the moment. Can we have any interest?
I think Grealish is a better option, but yeah, I think you can do. I think Villa's games, they're not great, but I think other than maybe Liverpool away, I think with Villa having Grealish in the team and having a bit, I think the Leicester game proved that we are capable of winning any game. I think one thing that we've got is with Grealish in the team, we'll create chances. Because he's probably one of the best footballers outside the top 6, and I think Samatta in the 2 games that he's had against Leicester he probably should have scored, and against Bournemouth he looked sharp. I mean he's great in the air, and we hadn't scored a headed goal until he scored against Bournemouth. So I think he's a goal scorer, and I think particularly if we get a double game week at any point on for the blanks, He could be a good differential. He's got he had a very good goal scoring record in Belgium, and he seems to. I mean, fitness wise, it will take him a while to get fully up to speed, but he's getting chances and he's looked dangerous in his first 2 games. So he's arguably hit the ground a lot quicker than Wesley did.
Can I ask, Adam, on Grealish, do you own at the moment?
Yeah, I do. I do. Yeah.
I take it he's the only Villa asset, is he?
Yeah, he's the only one that I'll be having.
What's your plan with him?
At the moment, I'll keep for the Southampton game. I'm thinking of swapping for Harvey Barnes in 28, but that it depends a lot on the Man City, because I'm in the camp where I would get rid of De Bruyne if they don't have a double before game week 32. So and I might be tempted to keep Grealish because of the blank game week in 31. And I think there's a good chance that Villa Newcastle game could happen, particularly if Baggies beat Newcastle. So
as I mentioned on the main pod as well Monday night, Adam, there's a small scenario where I think even the Sheffield United game could end up that day if cup results go a certain way.
Yeah, of course. So it's a good call, which would be great for people that own multiple Sheffield United assets. I think with Grealish at the moment, it is the best. I mean, probably since. The other side of Christmas, it's the best I've ever seen him. I think even now, opposition fans and everyone are just enjoying watching him play. He's great. I've not seen. I think as an Englishman as well, the talent that he has, it's reminiscent. Speaking with Spurs fans, but it's reminiscent of Gaza. Just the ability to pick the ball up, beat a player, find a pass. Just got absolutely everything. And, unfortunately, I don't see him at Villa beyond this season. So I'm just enjoying him in every single game that I watch him at the moment.
Yeah, I can't argue. I mean, the Gascoigne comparison is huge, but I know where you're coming from now. I think he'll be so well suited to international football. And
yeah, he will be.
I think even Villa fans will understand if the worst does happen this year, like they'll be queuing for him in the summer.
Yep.
He has to stay at this level or go abroad.
Yeah, of course he does. Of course he does.
Ricky, I got a trivia question for you, mate.
Go on then.
If you take Ericsson and Nkudu, who are not at a club, how many midfielders are listed for Spurs in FPL?
How many?
Yeah.
Can I cheat and have a look?
Yeah.
No. Do you know what? It's going to be 10, 11, maybe even 12.
14.
Wow.
What? Let me check. I've got to check that. Seriously?
Well,
Trust me, Ricky. James has got it in front of him right now.
And do you know what? We still haven't got a decent midfield.
To be honest, I started having a look at our players and I was like, oh my Lord, there's 16 midfield players listed and they're all shit.
I mean, I suppose in thinking about what Ricky was saying in terms of numbers, Son and Moura, a lot would consider forwards, maybe not midfielders. So there's a couple in there that maybe are a little bit OOP, but not much.
But we think we've got no squad, which is interesting. I'm sure Ricky probably agrees with that comment.
Yeah.
From an FPL perspective, Ricky, do you own any Spurs at the moment?
No.
Do you intend to?
Maybe. The answer was no, but our fixtures are actually they're looking pretty good. We have got a couple of players who do tempt me a lot at the moment. Son is obviously he's always going to be a tempter, but he's quite pricey. But Moura is now looking like he's going to be not the main man up front, but he's going to be one of a front two at the very least. He's cheap, he's scoring goals. Bergwijn, he's played one game, but he did look really, really impressive. I'm going to hold fire on him to see if he actually gets some more starts. Lo Celso I love, but he's not starting consistently enough. And Tanganga, that kid can do everything. Once again, I'd love to sign him now. But it's a case of, is Ben Davies going to come straight back into the team?
What's your thoughts on that, Rick?
Yes, I think he will.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the way Mourinho talks about Ben Davies, I think that's likely to happen.
He's got the
and Mourinho, and we need look, the teams that's been or the defence has been playing a lot better recently, but we still need to be a lot more solid defensively, and Ben Davies will give us that. He doesn't press quite as much as other fullbacks. If we've got Aurier up the pitch and Tanganga's up the pitch, we're really left with not a lot back defending. So yeah, I think Ben Davies, when he's fit, he will come straight back in. Tanganga could have gone over to the right hand side, but Aurier's actually been playing really, really well recently. So he's probably nailed down his spot now. So yeah, Tanganga, I'd love to sign him, but I think it's only going to be a really short term measure, if I'm being honest.
Do you guys think Aurier's an FPL option? Because he's 6 assists recently, hasn't he? I mean, since I think he always looks dangerous going forward. Do we think the clean sheets are going to come? Is he worth 5 million?
I don't know if
that's the problem,
sheets.
I think, Adam.
You got to. I think he's one of those players. You got to take the rough with the smooth. If you're going to buy him, buy and hold. And there'll be games where he'll get himself sent off or give away a stupid goal as he did the other week. But there'll be other games where he will create chances, get an assist and a clean sheet, and then pick up max bonus points. I don't think he's the type of player that I would like to jump on for 3 or 4 weeks and jump off. I think you just take a deep breath, take the rough with the smooth, and eventually net over the course of the next 10 game weeks we've got now, 12, whatever it is, he will end up being probably 4-5 point a game player, hopefully.
666 the last 3. Obviously, there's some fortuitous circumstances about that, but
I think
he's a lock at the moment. I agree with what Ricky says. I think of Aurier, Davis and Tanganga. I can't see Aurier coming out of that team at the moment.
No.
But, I mean, my comments always were pre-Christmas, like, don't even consider it till Hugo's back in goal. Now he's back in goal, I feel a bit better about it. But for me personally, no consideration.
No. With defenders, unless your name's Trent, it's got to be clean sheets is what you're aiming for, and then everything else attacking is a bonus. With Aurier, clean sheets they're just not there, so you're hoping for that assist every 3 or 4 games, and that's your real only source of points. And then you've got to take the yellow cards and red cards in with that as well. So for me, no, I agree with James.
Cool.
Yeah, not a lot to add on that. Just the only thing I'd say on Tanganga, obviously, those who watched the Southampton replay will have noted that Vertonghen got taken off before him. And I think there's potentially a case that should something happen to Sanchez, that Tanganga might get a run at centre-half rather than full-back. So, but I think it's very much a watch. In terms of fixtures, Ricky, I know you say the fixtures are all right. I don't like any fixture at the moment. So I tend to be in disagreement with that. But what I would say is, Adam, your Samatta, 8 points per game. I'll raise you with my Bergwijn, 10 points per game. So that'll get worse. But I think he's the one to watch. Obviously at 7.5 in the coming weeks. If I had to go and buy Spurs this weekend, as much as I've been critical of him, it wouldn't be anyone but Son. And I think those on De Bruyne, Adam's spot on there in terms of what he's saying. And we're pre-recording this Monday. Just in case there's an announcement on next Wednesday night for City West Ham. But if 29 double happens, then that's a completely different circumstance. Whereas I think you're right, if 29 double is off the table for City, then suddenly De Bruyne to Son almost looks obvious.
Yep. What price is Son now? He's
10.
Crept up to 10 million. So he's still quite a bit cheaper than Kevin De Bruyne.
People will have the value built up on De Bruyne, even if they haven't got the money in the bank, will probably be able to afford it.
Yep. Yeah, that's definitely an easy.
Are you guys complete? Because I know Ricky was talking about Mora there. Are you completely against Mora as an option?
No, not really, Adam. From my perspective, I mean, Ricky's right in terms of he's going to play through the middle at the moment, and I think Mourinho's trying to evolve to a 4-3-3, and I think he's the one that will stay central because he's the one who can handle the physicality of the game. That's the main reason. What's your thoughts on that, Ricky?
Well, I've just actually looked at Mora quickly, and I think I just mentioned before he scored some goals recently. He hasn't got a goal in 8 Premier League games, so if we can edit that out. He's scored in the cups, which is obviously in my head. I agree, Jay. He is more probably going to go through the middle than anything else with the way we're going to set up. But although we don't seem to be playing all that well or scoring that many goals, there's so many options for goals, and Mora isn't always the most clinical.
Yeah.
At his price, he could be really good value. I would personally, so I need to watch him a couple more times for the starts, but Bergwijn at 0.4 more is looking at the moment, only one game, but looking like a much better option.
Okay.
Essentially, I'd rather own Grealish through the period than move on to Lucas Moura, if I'm honest with you. And
I agree with that.
the thing is, I don't...
Well, for me, I've got Grealish. The player I'm looking at replacing at the minute is Martial.
Right.
There's no big hurry to get off of him, but he is kind of my next midfielder to make way.
Yeah.
I want to keep Grealish. I've got him. I've had him for a while. Villa's fixtures are pretty tricky, but he can create a moment of magic at any game.
I mean, he's the embodiment of talisman, isn't he? With what he does with Villa. My midfield is quite. I've got 2 big hitters in Salah and De Bruyne, and then down to Maddison, and then 2 cheaper players at Traore and Cantwell. So the only one that could make way for Amora, for example, would be maybe Maddison, and that doesn't seem sensible. I'd actually even rather pick Harvey Barnes, who's obviously not in the same bracket. He's quite a bit cheaper, but just based on who will score more points, I think Harvey Barnes would be a better shout. Even the likes of Traore potentially could be better options.
Yeah, I agree. We can get blinded by this OOP stuff sometimes. I mean, for example, Ricky, I'll speak to you about Martial off camera, mate.
Yeah, please, because I need some help with that geezer.
I think Martial needs some help with himself first.
I know it's not a United pod, but he's the central striker for Manchester United, and I'm just bewildered by him.
And when Villa have a blank, Martial's got Everton away, Man City at home, Tottenham away, Sheffield United at home.
Yeah.
No,
and don't forget, in about 2 weeks, we've all got to find the money and figure out a way of buying Leroy Sané. So that's got to come into the equation as well.
If we can unlock him from your basement. Mate.
Well, I was going to say, you let him out.
If I'm in Sané's basement, you sound like you're in Martial's at the moment, Ricky. Tormented by the guy.
The man has got me handcuffed. That's why I'm in a hotel in Gateshead. He's brought me up here.
Oh dear.
Adam, what do you make of the keeper? Are you happy?
Delighted. I think with Reina, I think particularly the first 2 games, he exudes a lot of confidence. He's quite calm. His distribution's very good, which I always liked when he was at Liverpool. And I think he's a winner as well. And I think all that, and plus he's added experience to the squad. So really, really pleased with that. And I think Nyland's a good backup. I think he possibly could have done better with one of the goals at Bournemouth, but overall, yeah, really, really pleased with him.
Any consideration on him? 0.4% owned at time of recording.
Nah, I'm not. Do you know? I made the mistake of starting the season with Heaton.
Yeah, you and me both.
do not.
And me.
Don't touch. I think for 2 reasons. I think Villa defensively, I don't see. I think we're more likely to win games 2-1 than 1-0. And I think the other reason for me personally is it's just so hard owning a Villa defender. It's like a double slap in the face when we concede. So I won't go there.
And I take it, Ricky, Hugo at 5.3 is just too much, isn't it?
Yes, he is. If it was the Tottenham defence of 2-3 years ago, I'd be all over him. But we haven't got a Tottenham defence. No, definitely not.
Okay, cool.
Adam, how do you feel about your current FPL rank? You're what, inside the top 350k?
Oh yeah, do you know what? It's not been a great season. It's been the worst.
A lot of us could say that.
Yeah, but you got to remember this guy's Hall of Famer, innit?
Yeah,
like,
true. I
think
proper celeb.
I think there's been a few things. I think that there's been elements of luck that have gone desperately badly, but then I think there's been times I've made bad decisions and I've gone away from what I would normally do. I think also as well, I've been featured on pods a lot more this year, and I've been giving out tips, and I think that does, when you're in the limelight a little bit more, it puts a little bit of extra pressure on, and I think sometimes you can overthink it. But I think I would hold my hands up. I think I've made some bad decisions this year, and I think ultimately, yeah, there's been a bit of luck. I think VAR has really, really wound me up at times, but the amount of times I seem to have been on the wrong end of it. But you know, it's the way it goes. But I'm hopeful. I think I'm planning to. I've still got my wild card. I've still got bench boost and free hit, and I'm hopeful of trying to salvage something respectable.
You think top 100k by the end of the season, or top
that's what
50K?
I'm aiming for. I'll take top 100's what I'm aiming for at the moment. But then just see where I go. So
Adam's got the exact same points as our zombie team.
Oh wow, fair play! And we haven't made a single transfer the whole season.
I saw that earlier. Yeah, I saw that earlier.
Don't worry, Adam. Our zombie team's kicking our ass.
Well, our zombie team is not kicking Ricky's ass. Ricky, 121k at the moment.
Good lad.
Yeah, I think that's my highest rank of the season so far. If we'd done this 5 weeks ago, I was outside the top 500,000. So I've risen a lot in the last 5 weeks.
That's great.
Like Adam, I've made some really dodgy decisions. I had Trent on the bench for his 24 points, if you can believe that. But yeah, no. Overall, I think I'm kicking on just at the right time now. So yeah, I'm happy.
What do you put? So you've risen up the ranks quite a bit recently. What key decisions, or what have been the key contributors to that?
Impressive.
Well, probably the main one is Pope in goal. I've stuck with him, and he's delivered so many points over about 28 points, I think it is, in the last few weeks. I swapped Mane for Salah just at the right time, and I've got all of Salah's points and missed all of Mane's blanks, and double Liverpool defence I think helped as well.
How long
Yeah,
have you
fair
been
play.
on Dominic Calvert-Lewin there, Ricky, as well? Because he's had a decent run. Or did you
He
just
has,
bring him
yeah.
in?
Not probably 6-7 weeks. I
Okay,
didn't.
so you've had
I
most
wasn't
of his
on it.
points as well.
I've had most of them. Yeah, I didn't get right on at the very, very start, but I got on early. I think the one I missed was Ings. I've got Ings now, but I missed. I think all of his goals actually. I think I've got one so far. But Calvert-Lewin, I'm actually probably getting rid of this week.
After that.
But
I like
not
that.
be a
Take the
great
points and
move,
go.
but
Yeah.
For
I think so. I'm looking at Jimenez, so Calvert-Lewin can go. But
it's not a bad place to go from Dominic Calvert-Lewin to Jimenez for sure.
Ricky, just a quick one. I noticed your squad value is pretty big, mate. 106.5. You've been at sort of above 106 since game week 17. It's quite high.
Yeah. I've taken 2 hits all season. So I was really cautious at the start of the season. I didn't want to take any hits, but I did want to get on players I wanted early. So I've made a lot of early transfers. I haven't been bitten, fortunately. But yeah, if I wanted to get a guy before he rose and someone else went down, I did it. I wasn't going to wait for team news because I wanted the team value for my second wild card comes in. Because that's when it's, I don't mind waiting at this point of the season or after the second wild card because value doesn't mean anything. But I wanted it as much value as possible to really make that second wild card count for something.
I think it's a bit of a myth, isn't it? The early team news or making early transfers because people only remember the time it's gone wrong. But the reality is, the majority of the time you'll get away with it, and I think that's a good. I think next season, and I think a lot of people have talked about they'll try and make transfers earlier. So
this season, I've always been below. I've always had money in the bank, give or take $500,000 to $1.5 million, and I think it's made me really lazy on being early on transfers. Last season, I used to watch FPL statistics pretty much every day to see when players were going up and players were going down, and I'd move early. Just because I had the money in the bank this year, I just haven't bothered, and I think that's something that I'm like you, Adam. I think next year I'm going to be a lot hotter on value in the early half of the season for sure.
Before we close,
it's not often. I was going to say, it's not often that a player gets injured in training anymore.
No.
And that you don't find out until a Friday's not playing. That doesn't really happen anymore, or not as much anyway. So I think it is. I think Adam's right. It's a bit of a myth, really.
I've got a question for Adam before we wrap up, and I have to stress this question's being asked on Monday night. Adam, do you want Mane to play at the weekend?
Against Norwich, 100%. Yeah, I've got Lundström's second sub, but I would, definitely want him to play.
As someone who owns De Bruyne and Mane, that's why I asked the question.
I think for me there was a bit of a risk in keeping Mane, and that's one of the risks they're taking because I think not many people have stuck with Salah and Mane, and I think they've got some good games coming up, and I think the West Ham game the weekend, particularly if West Ham are forced to play against Man City next Tuesday or Wednesday, I think that could be, he's warmed up, he's had a couple of games back, that could be like a really big score for both Salah and Mane.
Yeah, it's a Monday night game, that one as well, so we may as well stay up in
hey Adam,
North East.
Kick a man ways down, why don't you?
I don't think that'll be the game.
Just when you said that to him, he's frozen on the other. There we go. We're back.
Have I missed something off? Because I haven't been able to check through anything today. Is this Man City game going ahead anytime soon?
No, we don't know yet.
We don't know at time of recording, Ricky. No news yet.
But because this is going out 2 days later, Ricky, this is going to age well.
Just because I've got Lundström first on my bench, so I'm kind of keen for De Bruyne not to play and get some Lundström points.
I tell you what, I'd be keen for De Bruyne playing that lot, mate.
Let's see. Guys, let's wrap up with the prediction for the weekend. Ricky, what are you thinking in terms of this trip to Villa Park?
Do you know what? I'm actually pretty worried, if I'm being honest. What Adam said earlier is right. They can score against anybody, and they can concede as well. We can't keep a clean sheet. Do you know what? 2-2. Let's go for a 2-2.
Desmond 2-2. Adam, what are you thinking?
I think 1-1. I think both teams will score, and I think it could be. I'll go with 1-1, but it could easily be 2-1 to either side. But I think
it could be about 4-4.
Yeah, I think there'll be. I think both teams will go to win it, and I think the FA Cup tie against Southampton was brilliant to watch. I think it just showed that Spurs can be got at, and I think we've done well recently at home, particularly against Leicester. So I'll go with stick with 1-1, which I'll be happy with.
I think a 1-1 as well. I think if anyone's going to win it, it's going to be Spurs 2-1. But I think I'm going to go with a 1-1. 1-1.
Decisive will be Lo Celso's fitness. I think if Lo Celso's fit, I fancy it. If he's not, I think Villa will beat us. That's exactly what I said on Tottenham last week.
Indeed. There we go. Gents, thanks for joining us on Clash of the Correspondents this week, and always the interaction on Twitter and the articles and all the other information that you do share about your clubs. I know that everyone in the Planet FPL community appreciates it all.
Before you go, lads, Adam, I know because you're doing double duty tonight. Just tell the guys where else they can find you about on pods and that.
Yeah. So you can follow me on Twitter, Hopcroft13. But I'm about to film and record for the Fantasy Football Hub pod, which we're doing a live session at 8 o'clock every Monday.
It's 3 days old now, mate.
Yeah, but you're there every Monday, so we're 3 days early now.
We're 3 days early. Exactly. That's why I said every Monday. I was hesitant.
Yeah, perfect.
And Ricky, what hotels can we find you in?
You can find me in the Premier Inn in Gateshead, Team Valley. But you could also find me on Twitter. Twitter and Twitter.
There's this new app about Tinder.
I like that one.
You can find the guys at Hopcroft13 at Ricky Saunders 77. Ricky, before we go, we'll give you the last word. When Vertonghen scored at Wolves, yes or no question, did I nearly kill you?
Absolutely. It was limbs everywhere. I got pushed downstairs and I genuinely thought I was going to have another heart attack.
Nice.
We are glad to see you're well, mate.
Fighting fit.
There we go. Guys, thanks for tuning in to Clash of the Correspondents. We got one more show this week coming at you from Planet FPL. It is a doozy, so do stay tuned on Friday for a special surprise.
I still don't know what that means.
Oh, Google it, mate. Google it. But other than that, thanks for tuning into all of the shows. Ciao for now.
Thanks, gents. Good luck this weekend, especially
Cheers,
Ricky. Cue music, man child.
The Fantasy Football Show.